Hello and welcome to a Force 13 live update this evening. The date, of course, is May the 5th. My name's Nathan Foy, and we'll be talking about what's going on in the world of storms. Hey, where's that background noise coming from? Daniel, is that you again?
Might be.
Yeah, you've got some bad reverb going on there. If you've not gathered already, you'll know who's coming on our show this evening. Daniel is one of them who's got awful feedback problems, so we're just going to mute him whilst he sorts that out. And we also have Craig joining us from up north. Hi, Greg. And this evening we'll be discussing, as I said, tropical storm or possibly Typhoon Noul, as the case may be, very soon, and also the possible Atlantic development that we may be seeing in the next few days. The National Hurricane Center have a 40% chance of seeing Anna, whether it's subtropical or tropical, in the next 5 days. So we'll be keeping all eyes on that one as well, particularly our friends in the Atlantic on the east coast of the US watching as well. In the meantime, Craig, what do you think about what we've been seeing on Tropical Storm Noul so far? I'm going to get some imagery up shortly.
It's actually looking pretty hot. It's looking pretty good. I don't know whether earlier it was, trying to develop an eye because indenting it,
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know whether I should ask you whether it's no an eye, but I want to out to early saying right, that's the food.
Yeah, I've just put some latest imagery of the storm. You can see it there. It's past Yap now. It still may be delivering typhoon conditions or near typhoon conditions to the area. It is still not officially a typhoon yet, but that may become current in the next hour or so. We're waiting for the next update, which should arrive during the show this evening. The latest we heard, it's got winds of 70 miles per hour, just shy of typhoon status. And an air pressure around 900 and what would that make it, 978 or something like that, just west of Guam. I've not actually seen any observations from Guam, whether they had a rough time or not, but I'll find that out for you at some point. We're just waiting for the latest information to come in here to see what the intensity will be on the storm. That's quite an old image there. That was before it passed Yap on... Hi, Daniel, by the way, on Navy imagery. Now you can see that latest image is passed just to the west of it now. Daniel?
Pardon?
Nice of you to join us.
Yeah, with a really laggy camera.
Pardon?
Is my camera lagging?
It's a bit blocky, but that's about it. I'm just looking at the observations from Yap actually now. Let's see. Air pressure is the lowest at the latest observation time. That was 3:55 a.m. local. I am unfortunately unfamiliar with what that time actually is here. But as of 3:55 a.m. local time, the air pressure was 989.8, which was the lowest it had been to date. And where's the information on... Any wind information there? Oh yes, there it is. Gusting 61 miles per hour. It was gusting 68. I don't know whether that's miles. Yeah, there's miles per hour there. So it was gusting to 68 miles per hour. The actual wind speeds, though, I don't think quite reached tropical storm strength. 38, I think, was the highest there. So just short of tropical storm intensity. And interesting to note that latest observation, apparently the wind sustained was only 1 miles per hour. I'm not sure whether that is actually legit or not, but that could be the center of the storm, perhaps, Craig. Possibly.
Probably.
Possibly.
You know when you did that screen share with them? Yeah, the screen share of Yap right near the center. I keep thinking that's the eye.
Yeah.
It's just on the visible, and I keep thinking that's the eye.
The eye hasn't made itself entirely obvious yet. I mean, I expect it to be somewhere around this white spot here on the image.
Yeah.
This image is only... Well, it is somewhat dated now. That's from about just over an hour ago. Not too long ago. But
I don't know if you can see this, Nathan, but if you look close at the image at the top, the purple part of it, I don't know if you can see like little bands of it. Look towards the center of the sun.
Cutting out of the worst moment there, Craig. Sorry, I missed that.
Oh dear. If I don't know if you noticed, but towards the just towards the west of it, just the side of the eye where the eye would be. I don't know if you can see where there's like flipping bands trying to look to the centre of it.
Yeah,
Don't know whether
it's
that's
somewhat
an eye.
apparent. I mean, zooming in, perhaps signs of an eye wall is a little bit pixelated. The resolution, unfortunately, cannot be the best in the world. But hey, satellite images are getting better these days. But you can see quite possibly areas around there showing signs of maybe an eye wall. As far as Guam's concerned, what does that mean for sorry, not Guam, I keep getting them mixed up. Yap. As far as Yap's concerned in Micronesia, the storm is starting to leave the area. The central part of the storm is starting to leave Yap Island. And the outer areas of the storm still yet to pass through, though. So still maybe seeing some rainfall, particularly from this area here. Might have a little second wind, I suppose, from the storm there. But yes, as far as the storm's eventual track is concerned, it's going to be possibly a bad storm for the Philippines. Now, this was the latest track from JTWC at 3 p.m. UTC, showing how the storm will pass through Yap. Obviously, that's happened now, and it's on the verge of becoming a typhoon. As soon as we know whether it has become a typhoon or not, we'll tell you. And then the storm's expected to curve towards the northwest, and it could pass close to the Philippines, possibly as a Category 4 typhoon. So that's going to be rather significant. Either way, whatever intensity it will be, it's probably going to head for the Philippines and could cause some significant disruption there. Although it does appear, if this is anything to go by, that the storm may not make landfall and indeed pass just to the northeast of Luzon, and then who knows where it will go after that. So we'll see. Daniel?
Nothing.
Nothing.
What? Sorry.
Nothing at all. I think we've lost Craig for the moment. If you've got any questions for us, by the way, watching the video right now, feel free to ask away, and we'll do our best to answer. I think Craig's back now.
Yep.
And yeah, so we like to answer your questions as best we can, anyway. All right.
I saw when I was at school, believe this or not, I got some time in biology to check this because I finished all my work. I saw 125 knots on hurricane zone and gusts of 150 knots. And when I checked it up, a couple of seconds later, it was 100 for the 150 knots. It was 172 miles per hour.
What was that for? The current storm?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
tropical storm. Well.
Of course, the wind gusts may be even more substantial. You can see the gusts there in those last two dots, up to 145 knots. That's 165 miles per hour, Category 5 intensity gusts. The actual sustained winds will be less than that. Obviously, this is not set in stone, the intensities. It could be higher or indeed lower. So we'll be watching out for that as time goes on. As soon as we have information whether it's become a typhoon or not, we'll let you know. I'm going to show the wind shear map shortly. Bear with me, Jasper. I'll get that up shortly.
There's a bear with you.
There's a bear with me, yes.
Should I turn? Is my webcam quality too low? Should I turn it off?
It's entirely up to you, Daniel.
It's kind of painful watching it at the moment. It's
Painful.
so low.
Okay, here's the latest wind shear map. So you can see the tropical storm Noul there towards the southern part of the map. Low amounts of wind shear near the Philippines, though a little area where it's slightly higher directly in front of the storm right now. Craig, what do you think?
Yeah, it's still it's actually got a very good chance of even stronger development. Probably give it a couple of hours before it's type and strength. Maybe the area.
The trend is certainly favourable for intensification. Sea surface temperatures, I don't think there's going to be a problem with those. Let me have a look. Here's the latest sea surface temperature map. You can see that area there. Where is Noul right now? Around here, I think, where my little magnifying glass is. So currently in waters of around 29, maybe borderline 30 degrees Celsius, gradually cooling towards the west-northwest, all the way to the Philippine coast, with a little tongue of warmer water there as well. Whilst we're here, let's look at the Atlantic as well. I'll show you the satellite imagery on this shortly, but you can see the sea surface temperature's fairly warm, 26 degrees, a little area extending towards the north, the Gulf Stream there, almost extending as far as the Outer Banks of North Carolina by the looks of things, 26-degree waters offshore, and our possible Atlantic storm will be following a path not too dissimilar from that, from where the 26-degree waters are, so there could be an outside chance of a tropical storm. Subtropical, certainly a possibility. NHC say 40%. Actually, let's have a look. Here's the latest National Hurricane Center map. 20% chance. I'll actually read out the whole thing to you. A large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms extending from the northwestern Caribbean Sea across Cuba, southern Florida and the Bahamas. It's associated with an upper-level trough and a weak surface trough. An area of low pressure is expected to form in association with this disturbance during the next day or two. The low could gradually acquire subtropical characteristics over the next few days, whilst it moves generally northward at a slow forward speed. And the next update they'll be doing is at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. That's 4 p.m. Here in the UK, 3 p.m. UTC. But the main information for the layperson, I suppose, is 20% chance of seeing subtropical storm Anna in the next 48 hours and a 40% chance of that in the next 5 days.
I don't know where Daniel's going.
Yeah, Daniel appears to have disappeared into the distance somewhere. The weather here's not been too good, by the way, either. It's been pretty windy here in the UK, hasn't it, Craig?
Yes, it has. Believe me. I had a history exam today. And it was atrocious. Literally. I couldn't see out the window, there was that much spray.
That's pretty bad. Not nearly as bad here.
No.
Okay, here's a satellite imagery of what's going on in the Atlantic, actually. So you can see it's going. What may be our subtropical storm is going to evolve from this mass of clouds here. The models, the GFS at least, expected that the storm would move. What the low pressure system would form somewhere around here, where my cursor is, possibly a bit further east. Not too far from where it is right now, I suppose, and will gradually track northwards and could possibly become a subtropical storm, maybe an invest or whatever it may turn out to be. What it does mean is that the coast of the US from the southeast up to the mid-Atlantic states possibly may see inclement weather in the next few days, whilst the storm may well make a landfall in one of those states, whether it be Georgia, unlikely, South Carolina, or North Carolina are the most likely places where a possible landfall may take place. And actually, let's take a look at the latest models on that as well. First of all, the CMC. I've not looked at these yet, so it's going to be a surprise to me as much as to anyone else, whatever may happen on the model runs. So you can see the system there, not looking half as impressive as what the CMC said yesterday at the looks of it, but then again it does expand a little bit later on. A larger system than what they predicted yesterday. They even predicted a landfall as well, but let's see what happens. Then gets pushed back towards the southeast and weakens, and then turns towards the northwest and undefined towards the end there. Eastern Pacific, not much going on there. Apart from that little tiny low pressure system here, but that doesn't appear to be anything significant at all.
Hello.
Hi, Daniel. You're just like a little voice in the background. You sound like you're lost at sea.
I do.
Yes.
Have you got the flare with you?
Pardon?
Well, if you're lost out at sea, you need a flare.
Oh yeah.
You haven't got one.
Yes, precise. How fast is Noul moving? It appears very slow, and it is. It's almost stationary, according to the Japanese Meteorological Agency. I'm not sure whether that status has changed at all, but either way, it's moving rather slowly. I'll try and get an animated loop up on that after we've looked at these models. The ECMWF then, next few days, you can see it there, 72 hours from midnight past, so that's going to be towards 48 hours now. And then moving towards the west, not much of it by the looks of things, and then grazing the coast of the US, and then moving out to sea. There won't be anything left of it by then. The GFS model, this was 6 a.m. Let's see. Yeah, moving towards the north. The GFS has been most consistent, I think, with predicting a storm. And there you can see it lingering off the coast of North Carolina. Sorry, I went through that again. Lingering off the coast of South Carolina, near the border with North Carolina, and eventually, by the looks of things, just about making landfall perhaps, or maybe filtering southwards towards the coast of Georgia, hugging the coast for quite a bit of time there, which could possibly result, if it's a very wet storm, or maybe a flooding problem. But who knows? Who's all that noise? Daniel.
Pardon?
Daniel's making all the noise.
I was moving my.
That's organized chaos that you're in, Emmanuel.
Certainly sounds like. And finally, the NavGem model, you can see the storm again taking shape north of the Bahamas, and then eventually making landfall into South Carolina by the looks of things. And then pretty soon there'll be nothing left of it. If it is going to be a storm, it's going to be rather short-lived. And you see a big extratropical low out in the Atlantic as well there in the north, which is rather interesting.
So what's going on? Is it an Atlantic hurricane or is it? I haven't really been paying attention.
You don't usually do that.
Typical.
There's a possibility that we will see a subtropical storm in the Atlantic in the next 3 to 5 days.
So basically, this one's going to be a potent storm, really.
Pardon?
This one, so basically, if the tropical storm, subtropical, becomes anything, so it's basically going to be a potent storm, really.
Yeah, I suppose so. Here's the latest satellite loop on Noul. You can see how fast it's been moving. How long does this cover? About 8 hours, 8-hour period. You can see how it's traversed Guam, if not a direct landfall, then very nearly one. You see the central part of the storm, little white and black areas appearing near the end of that colour spectrum there, showing the most intense parts of the storm near the centre. That appears to be the bottom left-hand side, the southwestern part of what may be very soon Noul's eye wall.
Is Noul bigger than Nathan?
I have no idea.
No, I didn't read it. And that's I was just interested.
I haven't a clue.
I presume so.
Yeah.
But at some point earlier on, I was convinced that, hey, Nathan's cyclone, Nathan's got a rival.
Pardon?
Nathan's got a rival.
Yeah,
because at one
seems
point
to have, made himself laugh a bit there.
Yeah.
Dean Land says, Nathan, do you think the Atlantic storm will form? It's interesting to watch. Oh, it's close. I think there's a very good chance that we will see. I'm hoping to see a subtropical storm, yeah.
Right, just to get some nice early activity up, right up to the hurricane season.
We don't want to see any bad stuff going on land, but I don't think it'll be anything too major. Obviously, it's not going to be a very strong storm. It's probably going to be short-lived. It's probably going to be low intensity, though there is the possibility that it will make landfall and could possibly cause some flooding, which is the main concern with weaker storms.
Yeah.
But
that's basically what makes them.
Go ahead.
Right,
that's what makes it important.
Sorry, Daniel, what were you saying?
Yeah, go on.
Just to let you know, a person was recently ejected from the chat room, the hangout, and that was me. I was the one who ejected them. Because they were being unkind stuff.
Okay, you didn't have to say that on air, though, Daniel.
Oh, sorry.
Oh dear.
This is the latest on Tropical Storm Noul. We're waiting for any confirmation that this storm might become a typhoon, which is a possibility. Well, probability, isn't it, in the next 12 to 24 hours. We'll be looking out for it. We expect that the update will come at any time during our show, on here at least. This is usually the first place to give us information, and there it is, confirmation that Noul is a typhoon, according to RAM. So, as of 6 PM UTC, That's what we believe the information is. Wind speeds 75 miles per hour, Category 1 typhoon. Position 9.5 degrees north, 138.2 degrees east. Located just west of Guam. We believe that Noul is now a typhoon. You heard it here first.
That's me. You got to change the post-it note.
Craig's doing his own little tracking scheme.
Yeah, my little tracking scheme. Yeah, one of these. I put the intensity of the storm and the name of the storm.
Alright, that's
Unfortunately, that 15S, the one that wasn't named was very. I just named it Bob.
Oh.
Give it
Bob.
give it a cheery name.
Right.
Yeah. Come on, I don't like names. I don't like storms that don't get named.
All right.
Oh shush! Don't judge me.
The latest image on the storm. Here's the image from 7:20 p.m. So this is exactly 1 hour ago. 7:20 p.m. local time in the UK. It's 8:20 now. So this was just 1 hour ago. That's the latest image of Noul. You can see how it's changed somewhat since the last one as well.
It looks like I can see an eye actually trying to appear there. I don't know if you've seen it, but I think I can see a small indent.
It wouldn't surprise me. I think when visible imagery arrives, when daylight falls over the storm, we'll have a better idea. I do think I tend to agree with you there, Craig.
Yeah, pretty large eye, really. But as we go along, it obviously it will get smaller. Just basically, just for any of you viewers that are out there who are watching this. The larger you'd be surprised to hear this probably. Yeah. the larger the eye of a storm, the weaker it is. But the smaller the eye, the stronger it is. I thought it was the other way about. The bigger it is, the stronger it would be.
I'm not sure if that theory is consistent with every single storm in the world, though, Craig.
Probably.
I know that obviously Hurricane Wilma, that's a shining example of how a very small eye corresponds with the very strong storm there. His little loop made out of 10-minute intervals from real Earth. You can see how it appears that the storm, the central part of the storm, has expanded quite significantly in those last few frames, the pink areas being the most intense. This, Craig, if you've not seen it, you can see how it expands rather considerably in those frames.
Good God. That was basically explosive.
A bit of an explosion, yeah.
Yeah. I thought earlier this morning when it did that, it did it when it was still a tropical storm. When it did it, I thought it was going to shift south. I thought it was shifting south.
I
can't see it, unfortunately.
What's that, Daniel?
I can't see it.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
No.
Open your eyes.
Craig.
It's the computer.
Sorry, I know.
You can also see the island of Palau down there as well. You can just about make it out on my little cursor there. That is my possibly experience one of the spiral bands there, the southern band just to the east of the storm. As far as the storm's relation to the Philippines, that's where the Philippines are, and that's how large the storm is compared to those southern islands. The storm's probably not going to end up in that area that we're looking at. We expect, certainly the forecast expects that the storm will obviously start there and then gradually curve towards the northwest, as so many storms do, and just graze the coast of Luzon here, where my cursor's hovering right now. Just graze the coast, and who knows where it may go next. Perhaps it might shoot towards the northeast. That's probably the most likely scenario, but there may be a possibility that it curves more towards the west and maybe threaten Taiwan.
Are the small islands above the Philippines populated? Yeah.
I believe the southern group, at least, are populated. I'm not sure about the northern group there.
It's just that if Noel has a sudden change as a Category 4, change of direction, going south. Now, what are you laughing at? You put me off.
He's put Craig off. Many strong storms have affected those islands before as well. Some of them not so long ago. I think we'll mute Daniel for the moment because I think he's having a bit of a midlife crisis. Okay, let's take a look at what Noel is doing right now.
Stop it, Daniel. Stop. You set me off.
Also of note is Invest 93W. This is an invest that could become a tropical cyclone in the next few days as well. The next name in the Western Pacific is Dolphin, and this storm here is located in between the islands of Pohnpei in Micronesia and Chuuk further west. These pink areas show the strongest part of the storm. You can see how it's fairly disorganized. Craig, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I'd say it is very disorganized, but probably give it a couple of days and then it'll probably start joining itself together and then get going. But when I checked it earlier today, I thought center of it, there was a center part of the circulation. I thought it was starting to rotate. Very small rotation, but there was definitely a rotation that I definitely spotted that was there.
All right.
I don't know if it's going to come to anything. Probably depends, as we discussed last night, the cold water trail from the typhoon. Whether that might hamper it or we don't know.
Something that I should have mentioned earlier, but I didn't, was the warnings in effect. Hopefully it was fairly apparent, but a typhoon warning was in effect for Yap and remains in effect for Yap as far as I know. Obviously, Noul is now indeed a typhoon, so that warning is justified. It is upgraded to a typhoon. A typhoon warning remaining in effect for Yap Island. That's the only place under a warning right now. Destructive winds of 74 miles per hour or more are imminent or occurring. Though that's not what we saw quite from the weather station at Yap International Airport, though we did see near hurricane force gusts, 68 miles per hour reported there so far. Back to the Atlantic, and Hesper says something that I should also touch on as well, if you haven't noticed, with the National Hurricane Center. They announced this about maybe a month ago, that they've changed the colorings, I suppose you could call them, the categories for cyclone formation. Low is now below 40%, so that's 0 to 30% they've classed as low. Previously it was 0 to 20, and medium started at 30, but now it starts at 40 to 60, and high is 60 plus, or 70 plus, as I should say. So 60% is now classed as moderate also, just to let you guys know. But the latest on the Atlantic storm, or potential Atlantic storm, 20% chance of formation in the next 48 hours, 40% chance of formation, 40, in the next 5 days. Craig, is there anything you'd like to talk about whilst I look up some more stuff?
Check CMSS just now, and it's changed the logo of Tropical Storm Noul to Typhoon.
Hello.
And it's also got it's 93W 93W up, and so Noah's Ark, as we call it, what Nathan calls it.
You do.
Has got 93W.
I just used that term once.
Yeah, you did it as well.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
it's thinking.
No, you didn't. Right, let's not get hung up on that.
The forecast
Where's
is
it got
2x2 or something
93W
like
up.
that. Okay. Hello.
Come on with an error
Daniel,
saying,
hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
yeah.
What would you like to say? Anything?
Not really, no.
Oh, well, what?
Apart from I'm sorry.
Oh,
Okay, enough.
you were building up tension there. Come on.
Yeah.
You were building up tension there, Wanyo.
What should I say?
I don't know. It's
Nah.
if you want to say anything. I'm just giving you the opportunity right now.
Thank you for letting me do this, even though I'd never contribute anything.
Oh, that's okay.
Technically are, actually.
Oh yeah, he's been very important in the past few months. Since January, Daniel's been on the team. I'm just looking at the models now for the West Pacific, the GFS model for the West Pacific, and see what it's saying about not only Typhoon Noul, but of course a possible dolphin behind it as well. So
Dolphin.
Yeah, possibly a dolphin behind it. So you can see the storm there, Noul. Let's see where that goes first of all. So you can see it progressing towards the west-northwest. I expect it's going to be similar to what JTWC is saying. And there you can see, yeah, grazing the coast, very close, if not possibly, just about a landfall maybe on the North Philippines coast, a significant cyclone. And then what? You can see Dolphin moving into the picture on the right-hand side there as we progress, and then curving towards the northeast, quite rapidly, Noul. And then you can see Dolphin, as it will probably be by then, a significant typhoon by the looks of it there, making a very close approach to Guam, possibly a landfall there as well. And that's going to be in around 7 days' time. So it is sketchy because it is fairly quite a way out. 7 days is quite a long distance to forecast from. So it may not happen. It may not happen at that intensity. It may not happen with that timing. It may not happen with that track forecast. So lots of things to be wary about. But early indications show that Dolphin will be quite a monster in the West Pacific.
A monster dolphin.
Possibly.
Oh.
I do wonder, looking at that loop, whether it may well become a Category 5. It certainly looks fairly strong as it moves towards the northwest there, but that's what the model is saying at this point. Taken with a pinch of salt after 5 days out, certainly. So
as in Typhoon Dolphin.
We'll be monitoring that as time goes on, yeah.
But I've got a question.
Yeah?
Could somebody submit their own cyclone names to the naming thing?
Yeah, it's governed by the World Meteorological Organization now, as far as I know. I think
So can you submit your own names to them?
Yeah, they probably won't accept it, but you can try.
Oh. It's got a cyclone banana or cyclone orange or...
Indeed. Latest information from Yap Island, 4:54 a.m. local time, Chamorro time. The wind speed was 29 miles per hour, gusting to 46. Their highest wind speed sustained so far has been 38, and their highest wind gust so far has been 68 miles per hour. That's at least at Yap International Airport. With 3 inches of rain in the past 6 hours, and 4 inches of rain falling yesterday by the looks of things too.
Me.
What?
Whoops. You know how I was going on about 93W? I did put that up!
Ah. I did not know what you just said.
Yeah. See if there's any space in what
You
we've
want
left.
another look at 93W? You can see it there, located in the West Pacific,
you
and
laughing
also
at?
not far from the Micronesian Islands. That's the latest image on it. Latest intensity on it is believed to be 25 miles per hour, pressure around 1007 millibars. If you've just joined us, you've missed the breaking news that Noul is now a typhoon. We expected it. It's now 75 miles per hour, 65 knots, and it's starting to move away from Guam ever so slowly. We expect that to be confirmed. Well, it is confirmed by Navy at least. We expect that to be appearing on the JTWC forecast whenever that is issued as well. That usually happens probably in around the next hour. Sometimes it makes it on. Sometimes it gets updated before the end of our update. Sometimes it doesn't. We'll just keep watching out and see what changes there are with the forecast. I expect not much though. Any questions for us, you can send them on the YouTube page right now. We'll answer on air. There's around a minute delay, so we can't answer with electricity precision, but we can do it fairly damn quick.
Any questions for me as well?
Yeah, any questions for our resident storm learner, Daniel?
Can I just say something, man?
Yeah, you can say anything. Well, almost anything you
You
want.
said the word damn, man. Do you realise damn could be considered offensive?
No, I didn't say Dan.
You said damn.
Damn. Oh, right, that one.
You might upset some people saying that, so I'd avoid it.
Really?
I don't know. See what you like. See what you think.
I'm not convinced by that one.
Oh.
Listen,
Indeed. Yeah.
for the next Category 5, did you say that it might be Typhoon Dolphin?
It could well be, looking at that forecast. It is possible that Dolphin might be a really significant storm. Obviously, there's no concrete evidence of that yet. It's not even formed. But there is that possibility. Usually when the models predict something big, even if that something big doesn't happen, at least something does happen. And that's more of a chance than when the models predict something less, I guess. That's sort of my logic, really. I mean, models can often be wrong, but I think it's been consistent for some time as far as I know. So there is a possibility of 93W becoming something. Obviously, I'm not going to speculate too much because It's not formed yet, but when it does form, we'll start talking about possible landfall locations and intensities. As of right now, most of our time is spent tracking Noul, which is a Category 1 typhoon on the Saffir-Simpson-Hogan wind scale, winds 75 miles an hour. Craig?
Yes. Well,
Yes?
I can never possibly see. Is it? You're asking a question about no, aren't you?
Oh, I'm just giving you an invitation.
No's probably going to be.
Yeah? Sorry, we've got a bit of delay there, Craig.
If there's still a possibility that no may become super typhoon.
There's an outside chance of that, and yeah, it's possible. It's possible. It's not probable yet.
Go ahead.
Daniel, hello.
Hello. Yeah, those two things you were telling me about that affect which way a cyclone rotates, and if two cyclones were to come into contact with each other.
Yeah.
Isn't one called the Coriolis effect or something?
The Coriolis effect is pretty much what defines the way that the storms spin.
Yeah. What's the other one for?
The Fujiwara effect.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
Interact with each other. Yeah. Are you asking whether there may be one with these two storms?
No, I was just seeing if I got it right.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
Though those of you are curious about whether there will be a Fujiwara effect, I would expect not.
Yeah.
I think they're too far apart. Usually it happens when they close in around 1,000 miles of each other if they're big storms or something like that. Depends on the size of the storms, of course.
Yeah.
No. Sadly, it wouldn't happen to any storm on the side. That was the size of Cyclone Nathan.
Indeed. Stephen P. Shaw says, how far has Noel travelled in the past 24 hours? Looks like Yap may get a year's worth of rain out of this. because it's been so slow. Not sure about a year's rain. I know he was joking about that. But yeah, certainly a lot of rainfall possibly in Yap. There's been at least 7 inches so far, possibly more. Reported from the airport at least. It's been pretty slow. I mean, you look at that track map there on the JTWC, you can see all its past track, and pretty much since it became a tropical storm, it's been moving painfully slow. It is going to begin to speed up again as it moves towards the west-northwest. We expect that to happen in the next 12 hours or so. But at least for a few more hours, we may see more slow movement from this storm and typhoon conditions possible on the island of Yap. Any more information, we will deliver it to you.
See that? That indent in the centre. Well, yeah, actually towards the centre of Noel. That's becoming more and more apparent now.
I'm just loading up more imagery for you so we can see any later imagery than that. Okay, so that's where we were before. 627 UTC.
That's a more noticeable indent.
Let's see how that progresses in the next 2 frames, which I believe are available now. Hopefully, if they load. Technical difficulty. So there's the next frame. So not much difference there. It seems to be becoming a bit more compressed north to south. And then 647, pretty much the same there as well, isn't it?
Looks like the centre of the storm is actually beginning to organise now. You can see a darker indent in it. Towards the west of it.
You can certainly see it rotating. That's quite clear enough.
I think the darker indent.
You've got an idea of where its central point is, which is going to be somewhere around here by my reckoning, and where my cursor is right now, somewhere around there. It's where the centre point of the storm.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to see any of this for some reason. I don't know why.
That is awfully unfortunate, Daniel.
Doesn't matter. You can describe it to me.
It's a tragedy. Well, the thing about good communication skills is that we need to describe things well enough so that people who don't have eyes, like Waniel, can see it. I don't mean literally either. I don't mean literally. But you can see how most of the core of the storm has cleared Guam, though there is still heavy rainfall, I expect, and thunderstorms occurring on the island right now. And it's not over yet because the storm is moving fairly slowly. I mean, you go back the last. None of them are loading anymore.
Nathan, so
Sorry.
the when it comes to Category 4 typhoon strength, wouldn't the warnings basically become stark for the Philippines if you're down in the coast? I don't know what you'll say, but you will die.
Well, for the Philippines, obviously it's watching and waiting to see where exactly the storm's going to go. Though early indications show that it's going to be the northernmost part of the country, the northeastern tip of Luzon, will get the worst of the conditions. But it's 5 days from now, so that isn't set in stone yet either. We don't know exactly where the storm will make landfall, if it will make landfall, what intensity it will make landfall, but early indications, the current forecast says possibly Category 4, very close to the northeastern tip of Luzon, which I believe isn't particularly heavily.
So yeah, go ahead, man.
I've got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm not going to answer this. I'm going to let one of you two
Okay.
answer this.
Okay,
Dean Land says, "Where's Michael?"
I don't know.
He's at home.
He's at home. Yeah, there you go.
He's probably got detention or something.
He's probably thinking.
I'm joking.
Oh, Michael's at home.
Sure, why not?
Hope that answered your question, Dean.
He's probably he's still these days.
All right then. So let me reiterate what the current situation is with the storms. Obviously, there's now Typhoon Noul. It's intensified. Wind speeds are now 75 miles per hour, which is a Category 1 typhoon just. 68-mile-an-hour gusts recorded at Yap Airport, with 38 mile per hour sustained winds recorded there. That's not to say that tropical storm conditions haven't occurred on the island elsewhere. They probably have. Of course, heavy rainfall as well reported there, 7 inches at least in the past 12 hours or so. Of course, we also have possible Atlantic development. 40% chance of seeing subtropical storm Anna, believe it or not, in the next 5 days in the Atlantic off the coast of the United States, north of the Bahamas. 20% chance in the next 48 hours. I doubt that we'll see it then, but in the next 5 days, 3 to 5 days from now, we may well see something. Who knows? And I do expect that they will raise the 5-day chance as well, possibly. I would think. Do I still have that latest imagery? It's not been tagged as an invest yet, so all we have is this next sat imagery, but you can see fairly clearly what area we're talking about, and that's this area of cloudiness here in the northern Bahamas, extending into Florida as well, with some cloudiness going on there, and still in Cuba as well a little bit too.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, sure.
How long is this? Is this for an hour, this live stream?
Yeah, we're finishing up here in 15 minutes time.
Okay.
Craig, what do you think about the possibility of Atlantic development?
That's actually pretty something good to hear, that that it gives a good indication that it might not be a boring season this year, unlike last year.
Yeah.
Where basically the only excitement that the UK got in total was only the remnants of Hurricane.
Never mind.
But if you want to put it in, but if you want to put it into hurricane context,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. In the comment section, Dean Lands is shouting now. Where's Michael? Michael's been abducted by aliens.
No, Michael was eaten.
Sorry?
Michael was eaten by sharks.
Oh, was he really?
No, wait.
Yeah, very tragic.
Terrible.
It was a Dawes thing.
Hopefully Michael will be back from the shark experience at some point.
I don't think he will.
You should
Well, ever the
have
optimist,
Austin
Daniel.
playing. You should have the Austin playing.
Yeah.
It's
So that's
gold.
Nah, I don't.
that's the latest image on what may soon be an invest in the Atlantic, but hasn't been tagged as one as yet. Just an area of interest, which has a 40% chance of development in the next 5 days.
To be honest, it has grown.
Yeah, I wish I could show you a loop of it, to be honest. Let me find the satellite imagery on the National Hurricane Center's website of the whole area. I've gone past it all. Western Atlantic, perhaps?
Probably.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah. Was that a bit of rotation?
I'm not convinced that there's been rotation there.
Nah, that looks like that's spinning against the Borealis effect. That looks like that's spinning away.
Aurora Borealis, did you say?
Yeah, that's spinning against it.
I wouldn't say that.
That's what I just saw. I was like, no, I just going to say the thing.
And you can still see some possibly isolated thunderstorms forming off the southern coast of Cuba there as well. Probably end up moving towards the north too. But you can see that progression of that system in the past few hours on this visible loop. Anything else you'd like us to show you, people watching, then please feel free to ask away and we'll show you. Simple as that. Any questions, of course, we will answer on air quick as we can, 15 minutes before we finish our broadcast here, but you can follow Force 13, of course, on all of our mediums and stay updated. Hopefully the new website will be arriving soon, but I do not know when.
Also, yeah, you're going to talk about the chat room as well.
You want to talk about that, Dan?
Yeah?
We'll go on then.
Well, we've got a chat room. You can join it if you like.
Great.
It's very, very good.
Do you still want to advertise your Wikia?
Force, I haven't updated it in ages, but
Yeah, I know you have.
Force-13@wikia.com. Anybody can contribute, but keep it clean and family friendly, please.
Yeah.
Dean, I'll hunt you down.
Dean on the chat comments is absolutely devastated by from hearing the news that Michael's been abducted by aliens.
I'll go do it to him right now.
Eh?
I'll do it to him right now.
Yeah, he's devastated.
No, I don't. Do you share flyings?
Where are you going, Craig? Where are you going?
I just looked at the window to see if he was there.
Oh,
he's there.
Is he really?
Michael.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, he's flying on the tractor beam.
Alright.
He's flying on a tractor beam.
And if there's anyone watching in the Philippines at the moment, you're not missing anything. We do expect the warnings will arrive in the Philippines in the next few days, but it's going to be at least 2 or 3 days before that does happen. It's not entered the area of responsibility yet, though it will be doing shortly. And if you, what would it be? Maybe a day or so, and then we'll see how strong it is when it does enter that area. I suppose that will give us a good idea of what to expect there. Latest image on Noul, the newest typhoon of 2015. What is that now? Is that 12, I think, or 11? 11 or 12 typhoon equivalent storms this year, not just in the Western Pacific, that's worldwide.
I'm not looking at the name tags.
Yeah. And on average,
yes, I'm not going to do that. On
average, 71% of all storms form in the Northern Hemisphere. Did you know that?
Sorry?
71% of all storms worldwide form in the Northern Hemisphere.
That's strange.
Yeah. It's probably the Western Pacific making up most of those numbers.
Yeah. So funny, Craig.
Stephen P. Shaw says, what was that quick flare-up of the west coast of Central America? Was moving really fast. Let me get back there. Let's see. What are we looking at?
What's moving?
Apparently there's a flare-up in Central America somewhere. Am I blind here?
Flare?
A flare-up.
Where?
I'm not entirely sure where he is referring to. Are we just blind or something? I mean, there's that little bit of cloudiness off the coast of Honduras. I know you are. And a little bit off Belize, but very little though, isn't it? Nothing much going on there. But unless I don't know whether he might mean the sun shining off the sea there in those frames halfway through. That is sunlight. And of course a few clouds down there as well, this organised cluster of thunderstorms. No, we did not expect any East-Pacific development. That's the only thing I can think that he might be referring to. Possibly that sun glinting off the surface there. Dean Lands wants to know, what are the Predictor Season 2015 scores right now? Well, that's a really good question, because I do not know the answer. Though,
what's the question, Nathan?
Just to let you know, I'm on the Force 13 website right now. The website is effectively closed. It hasn't been updated in a long time, but the Predictor Season section is still open. That hasn't been updated in a while either, but you can predict your storms, and all predictions are registered. That was the standings as of March the 30th. That'll have changed by now. The lowest score is the best prediction, effectively. But all you have to be concerned about is filling out either 1 or 2. Predict season worldwide, how many storms you think will form around the world in 2015, or how many you think will form in each Northern Hemisphere basin. To visit that page, it's force-13.com/PAS 2015.html.
Do you get a prize for winning it?
No.
No.
You just get an honourable mention on a Force 13 video, like we have done for the past 3 years.
Oh. We'll win this time.
But I expect that the predicted season scores haven't changed much, Dean, since that table. But I will get onto that when the new website launches, and keeping that up to date. Indeed.
When's the website expected to launch?
Relaunch, you mean?
Relaunch.
I'm hoping I'm hoping we will have something in the next 2 weeks. Not a finished article, but something that we can just put up there, you know. Something to start with and build upon. Because we are effectively starting from scratch with the new website. You see, it's Craig, stop blowing into the mic.
Do you hear a kid impression?
No, don't. But
Get away, get down. It's bad enough you want a Hurricane Santa.
Yeah, indeed.
Everybody do a face palm, quick.
Yeah, just to reiterate with that season.
I've just noticed something. I've just noticed something.
Yeah.
I've just noticed something on CIMS says that on a loop of note, I don't shout to conclusion that I can see a quick dashing, like a quick little indent very quickly.
Right.
I can't out whether it's an eye. It looks like an eye trying to appear.
Can't
make it out. But
it's an inevitability, isn't it? An eye appearing, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
But type 1p, type 10. But what I was going to say is with Predictor Season, just to reiterate, whilst the scores haven't been updated in a while, all your predictions are still being received and put into our database, so they do not get thrown into a proverbial bin or anything. There's the latest image on Typhoon Noul, Category 1, 75 miles an hour.
I can't see it though.
What the gusts are about, like 80 miles per hour?
Yeah.
Or like 85 or
probably higher. Jesper Hamlin says, what is worse, dry air or wind shear? I guess the critical question I'd have to throw back to you there is how much of it?
Well, if you want to say, I'd probably say dry air. That's probably what holds most storms, really. You let a low shear, the actual wind shear just finishes it off. It blows it out.
Well, storms have sometimes defied wind shear. Sometimes they have intensified in the face of adversity, as you'd call it, I suppose. pretty rare, but it has happened, I believe. Whereas there's probably less occurrences of that happening in dry air. So I'd expect that dry air is marginally worse because it is exactly the opposite of tropical storms. Because tropical storms are usually very wet systems. They are the wettest of all storms. And obviously dry air is the exact opposite of that. The moisture, humidity, all that stuff is the highest in tropical cyclones. So that's why I would say dry air edges. Hopefully that's a nice response that Desper appreciated.
Gotta be.
Yeah, before we finish up, is there anything else that you two would like to talk about in particular? Because we're now running short of time now.
Not really, no.
Oh.
I'm sorry for not being to
Pardon?
I'm sorry for
Well,
not
I think I know we discussed this. I know we discussed this yesterday, probably last week. A Category 5 Atlantic hurricane.
So, what was that, Craig?
Of that forming this year. The chances of an Atlantic hurricane, Category 5 hurricane.
You're asking me?
Well, that's just a lot something to discuss.
Well, how long has it been since an Atlantic hurricane? 8 years. 8 years this year. If there isn't any Category 5 storms, and if I was to put a percentage on it, I would say there's a 30% chance of it happening this year. But if you wanted to just yes or no from me, I'd say no for this year.
You reckon we'll see anything like Katrina or anything this year?
No, I highly doubt it.
No.
I think we've got a better than fair chance of seeing a Category 4.
Yeah.
Because similar years, like last year, 2009, both had a Category 4 storm. So I think it will be similar to that. Yeah.
Okay, I don't basically Category 4s are still bad enough really about it. They still have gusts of Category 5 wind speed.
And
they have got a Category 5.
Yeah, sure. Let me just dig out my archives and see how many major hurricanes in the Atlantic we have on average, because just to put a little historical perspective on that, in the last 35 years, get this, there have been an average of 2.5 major hurricanes in the Atlantic every year. The only seasons in the last 35 years, 2.5 on average, Category 3 storms in the Atlantic. In the last 35 years, yeah, but in the last 35 years, only 3 of those have not had a major hurricane. That's 1986, 1994, and of course 2013. So odds are we'll see at least a Category 3. 2014 had 2 of those. 2012 only had 1. And that was barely Cat 3.
That was.
But yeah, it's had a little bit of a quiet spell recently, just like in the early 90s. 92 only had 1, 93 only had 1, 94 had 0, 91 had 2, 1990 had 1, 1989 had 2. So we've had more than usual in the late 2000s era, when we had 5 in 2010, we had 6 in 2004, 7 in 05, 5 in 2008. And I think we're just in a little bit of a quiet spell with major hurricanes at the moment.
But the last one, if you want to put it, in form, well, we'll include the Eastern Pacific. Probably the last severe ones, I think, Odile.
Well, the East Pacific has been very active recently, hasn't it? In the last few years, 20 in 2013, 22 in 2014, which is the second highest on record.
Jeez.
How about that?
I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I'm expecting another above average season in the East Pacific. I'm thinking high teens is my estimate.
Probably not many of them will be hurricanes.
West Pacific
Then again,
totals. Yeah, West Pacific totals. 2012 had 25, 2013 had 26, 2014 had 21. That's tropical storms. And in the last 35 years, the average has been 26. I think we will see another season with probably low to mid 20s.
What was that noise then in the background?
I have no idea, but I'm just going to have a quick look to see if there's any worldwide news to talk about. But I do not think there are. And finally, just to see the any other questions. Yes, there are. There's one. Jesper Hamlin says, "Is the Atlantic dead? We have not seen much storms and barely Cat 3 or more storms. Dry air and shear is off the charts high. What has happened?" But
It's
well,
not the season yet, is it?
pardon?
It's not the Atlantic season, is it yet?
No, I think he's talking about in general in the last few years. But dead. Is it dead? No, it's not dead, in my opinion. It's only been 4 years since we had higher than average major hurricanes. 2011. As I said, the 1989 to 1994 had a 6-year period where there was below average major hurricanes. In terms of actual hurricanes themselves, the average in the past 10 years, I'm just looking all this up as I speak, has been 7.4. The average in the last 35 years has been 6.4, so that's above average. Actual storms in the last 5 years have been 15.6. The last 35 years, it's been 12.3, so it's still well above average in the past 5 years. I think just that 2013 had the effect. It seemed quiet, but when you think about it, 13 storms and 2 hurricanes. Yes, no major hurricanes. It happens sometimes. 2012 was active, even though not too much. Well, a few things happened in that season. 2011 started off with a whole host of tropical storms, which made people think, but eventually churned out 4 major hurricanes. But yeah, that's just my analysis anyway. I'll let someone else speak.
I haven't got anything to say.
Okay then, Daniel. That's fine. Great. Do you have any closing comments? Because we're going to finish up the show now.
Yeah. Just if Typhoon Noul does hit the Philippines, I just want to wish everyone in the Philippines a good luck and hope they get through it.
Slightly premature, but let me just see if there's another image on that storm, just to see if there's anything. Oh, here's something new. Now, this might be an interesting development once it loads closer up.
Okay.
Not looking as impressive, is it?
What is it?
No.
This is Typhoon Noul. It is winds of 75 miles per hour. Personally, I don't think it looks quite as impressive as it did at the start of our show. I mean, these are 10-minute intervals. These are a very rapid succession of images by satellite imagery standards. I mean, well,
yeah, because
they do 1 minute images, don't they?
Can actually a rapid scan where it's just quickly scanning through it and it just creates a loop, and then once it catches a poor one, it'll just keep on going.
Yeah, the point I'm alluding to, though, is that you can't judge a storm based on what's happened in the last hour. It may flare up at any time, so we'll stick.
Oh no!
But we'll watch out for any more development. Of course, we'll be doing our updates as and when. Of course, we'll be live again tomorrow evening. We might do an update tonight. Probably not, though, because the threat to Yap is diminishing, and we'll probably just do another live event tomorrow at around the same time, just to put that in your diaries, everyone watching at home. We'll probably on air around the same time tomorrow evening, I expect, around 7 PM UTC. But I think we're going to finish up the show now. So, any last words from Craig or Daniel?
No, not really. I hope everybody enjoyed it.
Yeah, we all enjoyed it.
We haven't got the James May of Post 13 here.
Yeah. But yeah, there you go. Sorry.
Yep.
All right. Of course, you can follow Force 13 on our several mediums. Of course, the website's still up and coming again, but you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Add Force 13 on there. Sorry, I'm fast forwarded the Skype then, didn't I? Search Force 13 on Facebook, at Force 13 on Twitter. You can also speak to me on Skype. Type in Fool 13. I'm not sure how well the search things come up, but if you can't find it by typing in the number, type in the text Force 13. But in Skype, it's numerals Force 13. Sorry, Fool 13. It's all confusing, isn't it? I'm the fool, apparently, and I'm tripping over all of my words. But hey, from myself, Nathan Foy, and from Daniel and Craig here, it's time for us to go. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.
Toodles.
Cheers.
Toodles.